We're often told that leadership is just this checklist of skills you have to master. But what if the most powerful kind of leadership isn't about what you do at all, but about who you are? This is about leading not from some playbook, but from the very core of your being. And this quote from Dr. David Boje, man, it just cuts right to the heart of it. Think about it for a second. The moments that really defined you as a leader, was it because you checked all the boxes on a performance review? Or was it a moment where your presence, your real, authentic self showed up? That's what we're going to dive into. So this brings us to this big problem, this trap that so many leaders fall into. It's called the leadership performance trap. It's that feeling of constantly being on stage, constantly reacting. So the real question for you is this: are you just managing the symptoms, just putting out fires? Or are you getting to the actual source of your strength? Okay, let's break this down. It's like there are two completely different modes you can operate in. Over on the left, you've got performing leadership, and that is just exhausting. It's all about managing symptoms, reacting, keeping up that polished image, but, deep down you're kind of disconnected from what's really going on. But then, on the right, you have leading from being, and this is a total game changer. It's about getting to the source, authoring your reality, and having this unshakable presence because you're actually grounded. It's the shift from acting like a leader to just being one. Okay, so the big question is, how do you actually make that shift? How do you go from performing to being? Well, Dr. Boje offers us a guide, and it's not some new complicated framework you have to memorize. No, it's more like an invitation to explore yourself. This is where we stop performing and we start leading from the inside out through what he calls the 7 dimensions of being. Yep, 7. And there's something powerful about that number, isn't there? These are 7 different but totally interconnected dimensions of who you are. And when you put them all together, they make up your total presence and ultimately your leadership. All right, so here they are: who, what, when, where, why, with, and wish. Think of this as our roadmap for the rest of our time together. We're going to dive into each one and see how they stack up to build a more authentic, more powerful way of leading. You ready? Let's jump in with the first one. First up, who. And listen, this is not about your job title. It's not about your fancy LinkedIn profile. This is about discovering and living from a core identity that no one can ever take away from you. It's that unshakable foundation of who you are, totally separate from what other people think or whether things are going well or not. And that's why knowing your who is so incredibly important. When you're grounded in that core identity, you project this stability, this purpose that people can feel. And especially when things get chaotic, that's what they'll follow. At the end of the day, your presence speaks way louder than your plan ever will. All right, number 2 is what. And this one is so cool because it really challenges that old myth of the leader as this lone hero, right? Instead, it asks you to see yourself as a superorganism, a complex, interconnected living system. See, your energy, your gut feelings, how you bounce back from stuff, that's not soft skill nonsense. It's a core part of your strategy. Those are your primary levers. And think about it. If you're disconnected and running on empty, guess what? Your whole organization is going to mirror that right back at you. Okay, on to number 3, when. And this one's a little deeper. It's about being in time, not just being on time. We all get the whole on-time thing, calendars, deadlines, meetings. But this is about a different kind of time. It's about the formative moments, the scars and the triumphs that made you who you are and are still alive inside you today. And this is where that real sense of gravitas comes from. It's not about being super serious all the time. It's about being whole. It's about owning the whole story, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the moments that made you who you are, instead of trying to bury them. Your past is a source of incredible wisdom. Next up, number 4, where. Being in place, right here, right now. Your environment, the office you're in, the city you live in, it's not just some neutral background. It's actually a co-author in your leadership story. It's shaping how you think, how you feel, and how you lead, whether you realize it or not. I love how this is put. When you're really connected to your where, it's the difference between that generic, kind of corporate presence and that unmistakable authority of someone who just belongs right where they are. And people can feel that difference from a mile away. All right, number 5 is why, but it's probably not what you think. We tend to think of our why as this big, flashy mission statement on a wall, right? But this is about where your real purpose shows up, in the small, everyday, unobserved moments. And believe me, consistency is everything here. It's how you answer that early morning email. It's the tone in your voice when things get messy. That's the stuff that actually builds your culture, builds trust, and builds your legacy, far more than any big speech you could ever give. Okay, number 6 is with. And this one totally flips that old, tired cliche on its head. You know the one. It's lonely at the top. This dimension says, nope, not even close. Our primary state of being is being with others. The whole idea here is to just radically blow up your idea of connection. Your with isn't just your team, it's your rivals, it's your community. Heck, it's even the microbes in your gut that are keeping you going. And as you widen that circle, your real influence and your wisdom just grow right along with it. And that brings us to our last one, number 7, wish. This is about being pulled toward a future that you care about more than getting a round of applause. This isn't ambition for fame or status. It's this deep, authentic care that's driving you, even when nobody's watching. And this, my friends, is the secret sauce to resilience. When your wish is that clear, tough decisions get simpler. Setbacks, they just become part of the story. Suddenly, a crisis isn't a threat anymore. It's just fuel, because you're already pointed toward a future that you believe is worth fighting for. So what happens when a leader actually does this, when they really step into all 7 of these dimensions? Well, this is where we get to the leader's transformation. And it's not just a small change. It's a fundamental shift in who you are. And wow, nothing captures this better than this incredibly raw, powerful quote from Dr. Boje himself. Faced with a terminal cancer diagnosis, his response wasn't fear or defeat. It was clarity. Thank you for giving me the exact pain I needed. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That is what it looks like to lead from your being. The biggest challenges become the biggest catalysts. And so this is where we turn the camera around. This whole thing, it's not just about learning some new ideas, it's about you. The real question is for you, right now, how are you being in each of these 7 dimensions? Look, at the end of the day, the world doesn't need another perfect leader with a perfect strategy. It's waiting for you. The pen is in your hand. The world needs the full, the unfinished, the radiant you. That's the only leadership that's ever going to really change anything.